I want to talk a little bit today about stroke. You may not even use stroke at all in your project, so this you may not even need, which is awesome. Or it could be really helpful to you. Regardless, I have it recorded, so you could always come back to it. So, I know stroke is something we don't really deal with in Photoshop, so it's hard to transition our brain a little bit. But right now, if you look at my color picker, I've got this like pretty aqua color in the middle, and then there's this white with a slash. So what does that white with a slash mean?
That means it takes away the color, right?
Yeah, it's like empty. There's nothing there. It's transparent. Okay. And that little framey box is what would be a stroke. So it's telling me there's no stroke on it right now. I'm going to add something like bright so you could, darn. I'm going to add something bright on there, like a red so you could see it. I think the computer's just lagging on us right now. Forgive me. So, oh well. The idea that I was going for is just crazy. Very cranky today. Forgive me. I was trying to put a stroke on the color, and clearly it's not working. But the goal is that if you're putting a stroke on something, we have a stroke panel so you can make the adjustments. Window, stroke. So I could work on the letters, or maybe I'll try with another shape since it's being quite cranky. All right, we'll work off of that shape because now it's not being cranky. So I got a black fill in the middle, and I've got a green stroke on the outside. So there's a bunch of different things you could do if you have a stroke on something. We talked about making the stroke thicker by pressing this thing at the top. And I'm going to zoom in, and you can see there's like this blue line in the middle of the green stroke. So you could align your stroke to different places. So when we open that stroke panel, right now it's aligned to the center because that light blue line's in the middle. But you could align the stroke inside so you could see it actually changes the shape of your size. Or you could align the stroke to the outside so you'll see that blue line along the edge there too. So that's just an option I wanted to throw at you if you are interested later, especially if you really need certain sizes to fit in. Another fancy thing this stroke menu has is the cap. So right now I have really sharp corners and things like that. This is good for when we make like a line. Let's make a line. And you could tell the edges are like really just flat and sharp. But you could put a cap on there and make your lines more rounded, or you could make them more square at the end. So there's a bunch of different options there. We could even make our line dashed by clicking this little box here, and we could type in different numbers to make the dashes have different separation. We could add arrows, but I don't think we really need that for this project, so let's not even get involved with that. Another fun thing is the profile. So you may see that like at the top here where it says uniform. So I'm going to click on the line. And it just means that my line is like equally straight throughout the whole thing. But let's say I pick this first one that looks like a really stretched out football. It totally changes the shape. So there's lots of width profiles you could adjust to get different effects on your lines depending on what you're going for. So I know it's a lot of information, but it's recorded, so you can always go back to it. The biggest advice I have for you if you have a stroke on something, this here, is that you're going to want to make sure your stroke fits on your project. So like right now, the green is hanging off a little bit on the top because this black line is where my paper ends. So like for this piece, I may want to align my stroke to the inside like that so I know that my border isn't cut off later. If it's not inside your big piece of paper, there's a good chance it's going to be cut off. So again, a lot of you probably don't need to use stroke, but it's there for you if you need it. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? Okay, it's more of a reference. And I will post it in a moment, hopefully.